Hello, everyone in Human Relations Land. This is Demetrius Wilson, and this is a strategy for success section as well as a chapter summary that is very, very helpful, very useful. It's not mandated for everyone in class. For those of you who've had my class before, you'll receive a separate email. You will know that you will be responsible for completing a short synopsis on this video. But for the rest of you could use it as an extra credit. You could also use it as a short tutorial before you take your quiz or your test. Got a lot of good information that will help you in your professional, in your scholastic, and in your personal career and lives. So strategy for success, strategy 1.1 is develop mutual respect. And mutual respect is something that's required in the business environment. So number one, you would develop your self-esteem, which is closely tied to everything in human relations. Develop your self-awareness, develop trust, and learn to self-disclose. A lot of good videos about learning to self-disclose, a very good way to make new friends and meet new people. And then also you want to cultivate mutual respect between you and another individual. So although these are big tasks, they can be achieved by anyone with a clear understanding of human relations, and that's why you're here, to learn and understand human relations and use that in your personal and professional and scholastic lives. So number one, it says to develop your self-esteem. First, you must develop your self-esteem. Self-esteem can be encouraged or damaged very early in life. And some people who have self-esteem problems don't even realize it. And you have to be really cognizant of this, especially if you have children. And if you do have self-esteem problems, you could probably look back to a couple times or multiple times or certain scenarios in life that played a big part in that and kind of dictated that. So you want to make sure that if we have low self-esteem, we repair it and fix it now, and we help others to boost their self-esteem. However, no matter what your age or self-esteem level, you can always learn to like yourself more. And that's should be one of the outcomes of this class, that we should all learn to like ourselves more and understand ourselves more so that we can understand others even more. Chapter 2 will cover self-esteem in great detail and provides tips on how you can build your own self-esteem. Also, some great videos on that. Tips and tasks that I look at, and every time I post them or watch them or read them, I say, I need to be doing this myself as well. Number two is develop your self-awareness. Without self-awareness, you will find it hard to develop self-esteem or any of the other issues that are important to successful human relations. You have to know and understand who you truly are. This is because you know yourself before you can value yourself highly and express yourself honestly to others. You will learn more about how to develop self-awareness in chapter 3. So it's good. It's like a little blueprint to the book. Self-esteem in chapter 2, self-awareness in chapter 3, jumps around, but it kind of gives you a roadmap to being successful in human relations. You also want to develop trust, and that holds true in anything. With adequate self-esteem, you will find it. Without adequate self-esteem, you'll find it difficult to trust. With trust, however, you will find your relationships will grow deep and meaningful, and that you will be able to tell other people what's in your gut, quote unquote, without unnecessary fear. Right? You want to tell people what you truly feel and how you truly feel about a situation. Now, don't be that individual that says, "I just speak what's on my mind," without any type of filter, because that's not going to help you in the long run. You do have to have a filter. You do have to use common sense before you speak. Learn to self-disclose. As you develop trust, you will be able to disclose more about yourself. Self-disclosure and trust are areas that can develop simultaneously. As you learn to self-disclose appropriately, you will develop deeper trust in your relationships. Chapter 3 will cover self-disclosure in greater detail. And last but not least, you want to cultivate mutual respect. And so that doesn't mean just that you respect them, but they also respect you. It's a two-way street. Developing trust will lead to mutual respect. As you forge relationships that are based on honesty, you will learn more about talking from your quote unquote gut, also called self-disclosure, which is in chapter 3. So our strategy 1.2 is to build your communication skills. You must be able to communicate here on planet Earth. Learn to communicate honestly. Be open and honest with individuals. Be what you call transparent. Number two, learn what effective communication is and how to develop this skill. Effective communication is me going through these and you understanding exactly what I'm trying to say. If you don't understand what the information that I'm attempting to relay, then that's called miscommunication, not communication. And then you want to know what you are communicating to others, increasing your own self-awareness. Be self-aware. And number four, you want to know what you are communicating to others by your nonverbal skills. So if I say, I like you very much, and I cross my arms and cross my face and everything else, you should know that I probably don't like you very much. The nonverbal signals will tell you the truth before what's coming out of someone's mouth. Learn to deal effectively with conflict. Embrace the conflict. All right. You can't run away from the conflict. It's everywhere. It's there. I don't think I've ever been through a day in work, unless nobody else is there except for me, that there hasn't been some sort of conflict. So you want to learn to communicate honestly. When you communicate honestly by learning to say what you feel, by establishing trust, and by effective and appropriate self-disclosure, your listeners will learn to respect you and trust you more, right? This guy's never steered me wrong. Why would he start now? But if I have a habit of saying this is what's going to happen, then it doesn't happen, then people are going to be a little apprehensive about trusting me. Learn what effective communication is and how to develop this skill. Effective communication is communicating so that your listener receives the message you intended to send. So, as I stated earlier, the person has to receive the message as you intended to be received for it to be communication. When you honestly and appropriately self-disclosure and state your message in a clear way that shows high self-esteem, you will send your message more effectively. Number three, know what you're communicating to others by increasing your self-awareness. If you have low self-awareness, you don't understand, your feelings, what your high and low points are. You may have some trouble with that. You may communicate so that your true meaning is unclear, and we all want to be clear. We want to be crystal clear, especially in business. By working on your self-awareness, you will improve your communication skill. Number four, you want to know what you are communicating to others by your nonverbal signals. If you give nonverbal signals that are unintended, your message will be different than what you expect for it to be. It can lead to confusion and definitely can lead to mistrust. Nonverbal communication is covered in more detail in chapter 6. And last but not least, number 5, you want to learn to deal effectively with conflict. Trust me, you just must embrace it. You cannot avoid it. You can't run away from it. It is everywhere you turn. Effective communication skills involves the ability to deal with conflict. Chapter 11 will show you how to deal with conflict and to restore trust and mutual respect. A couple great videos on dealing with conflict loaded into your modules. So this is the chapter 1 summary. Very good, just a short synopsis at the end of the chapter that says, hey, this is what occurred. This is what we learned, and just give you a brief rewind and then play so that you remember all these high points that we've touched throughout the chapter. So chapter summary by learning objectives. So define human relations. Whatever direction your life takes, whether you become a manager, entrepreneur, or an employee, you will always have to deal with other people, and human relation skills will be essential. You're dealing with humans, not robots or aliens. You're dealing with humans, you need human relations. Human relations is a skill or ability to work effectively with and through people. That doesn't mean to manipulate people. That just means you learn to work with them, and those that report to you, you learn to work through them, communicate effectively, and everybody wins. So second learner objective, explain the importance of human relations in business. Human relations skills are especially important today for several reasons. We have greater awareness of human rights, current fluctuations in international markets, growing emphasis on human resources in companies, and current emphasis on teamwork. Have you ever noticed in the high schools that you have 4 desks facing each other, or 2 on each side? It's because they want people to learn how to embrace the team philosophy and utilize teamwork in high school, then utilize it in college, and then utilize it in the workplace. And increase diversity in the workplace, right? So you just think about it. I don't think someone from South Dakota came up with the Tapatio Doritos, right? You have diversity. You have different type of products that hit different markets. So you have to be very cognizant of that as well. Learn objective 3, you want to discuss the challenges of human relations as these factors affect success in business, right? You will not be successful if you cannot communicate and if you cannot lead in business. Today's problem make workplace survival an even greater challenge, increase workplace competition, especially here in California. The rise of dual career family and the divorce rate have placed severe impact on a child, on the family, on everything. And the problem of two generations of dependence, talk about the sandwich generation, baby boomers in the middle, taking care of their kids, also taking care of their parents. All these factors increase personal stress and complicate the issues of human relations, right? So you have that eustress, which is good stress. You're about to catch the winning touchdown, and you jump as high as you can, catch the ball, boom, you're in the end zone, spike the ball, do your dance, and it's all good. But distress is me sitting on the freeway for hours and hours and hours. That's the bad stress that weighs on you, makes your hair gray, and makes your hair fall out when you're washing it. Uh, You want to identify what the study of human relations does not include. Skill in human relations does not mean being phony or manipulative, right? So you don't want to use it, oh, I just learned these new things in human relations. I know how to manipulate people. Don't do that. It is neither a quick fix nor a cure-all, and is not just common sense, right? There is a scientific method to this. It is a skill area that is learnable through growth and continues for a lifetime. So, for instance, I don't know everything about human relations. As many times as I've read this book and taught this class, I'm learning every day. And we should all be individuals that are sort of like a blank slate that we learn every day and continue to excel as individuals. Learning objective 5 is describe the areas of emphasis for human relations in today's workplace. The main areas of human relations are self-esteem. That's the big one. If your self-esteem is not on point and where it needs to be, then it's going to be some problems with human relations. Mutual respect, self-awareness, and self-disclosure. Communication skill. Communication is always going to be the key. Group dynamics, how you interact and react within a group. And motivation. How motivated are you? Do you need me to motivate you? Do you need someone else to motivate you? Or are you self-motivated? Do you jump out of the bed as soon as that alarm goes off and say, I'm going to conquer the day, embrace the grind? What do you do to get out there and motivate yourself? And last but not least, you want to discuss a short history of the study of human relations, starting with the scientific managers in the early part of the century and finding a focal point in the Hawthorne experiment, which meant that, or not meant that, but you saw that in the Hawthorne experiment that they watched the people, turned up the lights, they produced more. They watched the people more and they turned down the lights and they produced even more. And it's not because the lights or anything like that, it's the fact that people were paying attention to them. Well, one good reason is probably because I don't want to get fired when people are paying attention to me. The human relations movement began in the 1800s and spanned the entire 20th century. Names to remember include Robert Owen, Andrew Max Weber, Frederick Taylor, Frank and Lillian Gilbreth, Mary Parker Follett, and Elton Mayo. In 1960, Douglas McGregor wrote about the Theory X and Theory Y managers. And as I always tell you, don't be just a Theory X or be just a Theory Y manager. Be a combination of the two, and that's how you will excel in your business place and your workplace environment. Showing the latter as both more effective and more humane, meaning Theory Y. And is more effective, is more humane, but you may need that Theory X. You have to pull that Theory X guy out of your pocket or put your Theory X cap on sometimes. Just depends on where you work. So that is the chapter summary. You guys have a good day and a great week. If you have any questions in regards to navigating through etudes or anything like that, please be sure to email me and I will be glad to assist. Have a good day and a great week.